Why are mechanical permits required?
Mechanical permits, of course, we want to make sure, like all permits, that we're watching out for the public health, safety, and welfare. Mechanical permits in particular, you think air conditioning is not that much of a danger, but there are, if they are installed incorrectly, there are dangerous things that could happen. One example I can think of in particular is gas furnaces. If gas furnaces are not installed correctly, then you can get carbon monoxide poisoning in the house. So those are some of the things that we have to look for, and some of the reasons that permits are required for mechanical systems.
What kinds of projects require a mechanical permit?
Mechanical work is basically heating and air conditioning work, what we call HVAC. So you have to be a licensed HVAC contractor to do mechanical work. And really anything involving HVAC work requires a permit. Exceptions are portable heaters, things that you plug into the wall, and also evaporative coolers. If some older houses still have evaporative coolers, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically a window unit that you stick in the window, and it's just a fan that's running, but there's water that's piped around the unit, which cools down the air a little bit and just blows cooler air through the house. Those do not require a permit. They're fairly simple to operate and are not too mechanically involved. But everything else, replacing condensing units, replacing furnaces, replacing anything air conditioning and heating requires a permit.
What's involved with obtaining a mechanical permit?
Okay, similar to the others, basically licensed contractors have to call in. Again, if there's a building permit, we tie that to the building permit so that we make sure before we issue a final for the building that the mechanical systems have all been checked out and are in place. If we don't do that, then a lot of times we'll be allowing the people to move in and the air conditioning work doesn't get finished up. But the contractor calls in and gets a permit. He can do that over the phone, particularly if that's the only work he's doing. Otherwise, if they don't have an AR account, for instance, and they have to come in and pay for it, then they come in person and do it. There's not really any submittals required for pulling a mechanical permit, unless it's a large commercial project, in which case they do have to submit plans to show us what it is that they're intending to do.
Why is using a licensed professional important?
It's important to be licensed for these three trades in particular: electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. Strictly because especially because there's so much technical knowledge in each of those fields that the state recognizes that it's important for somebody, especially if you're doing the work for other people. They recognize that it's important for somebody who's knowledgeable about the codes and knows what is and isn't required, because a typical homeowner doesn't know. So if you're having something done, the state wants to make sure that somebody who's knowledgeable in that area does it right. We get lots of complaints about so-and-so came by and he didn't do the work correctly, and now he's gone, and or I paid him in advance and he came in and did something and he's gone. Well, 9 times out of 10, the person wasn't licensed. They never called us for a permit. They're gone. There's really not a whole lot we can do about that, other than turn them into the state and let the state investigators come in and try to find out who it was and get some closure for that customer.
What must homeowners do if they want to perform mechanical work themselves?
If you decide you're going to do your own mechanical work, then you still have to pull a permit, as I said, and you still have to meet the same code requirements that a licensed HVAC contractor would follow. So we come out, we make sure that everything meets the same standards that anybody else would be expected to provide. And if you don't, your permit's not going to pass.
What is the mechanical voucher program?
On mechanical permits, if a HVAC contractor does a lot of mechanical work, we do have something called a voucher program. Mechanical contractors that are on this voucher program, they have to be approved to be on that program. They are allowed to go out and do mechanical work, HVAC work, without having to come in for a permit each time. They submit vouchers to the office, and then our inspector takes those at random, does a minimum number, and he goes out at random and inspects the work. Because if he finds that the work is not being done to code, then they lose that voucher privilege and they have to submit every project. But because of the nature of that kind of work, we do allow those kinds of contractors to do permits in this fashion. If you have questions, again, my advice is to call us and ask us. We'll do what we can to help you. If you can't find our number, or another option is to contact the Public Information Facebook page, the City of San Angelo Facebook page. Post your question there and they'll get it to us and we'll do our best to answer it.